you look back at like Galileo, and he was like the first guy to be like, guys, I think this shit's wrong, and they're like, kill him.
Right.
And we think that we're past that, but
Right.
we're in it.
We're in it.
We're still so ignorant, but we're so arrogant.
Yes.
that
We figured it out.
Yeah, and it's like the same shit of like when they were putting cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Right.
And they're like, I love this drink. This is great. And you're like, we look back 80 years later and we're like, we probably shouldn't have been doing that.
Your doctor's smoking and doing smoking.
Yeah, there's stuff right now that we're doing that in 80 years they're going to be like, yeah, they were just smoking out of a battery. Like we shouldn't be, you know what I mean? It's like, and then extrapolate that like 1,000 years.
Hey guys, welcome to the Burbs Bros. Before we get to this week's episode, I want you to know about some of my dates I have coming up. January 21st to the 23rd, I will be in Montreal at the Montreal Comedy Nest. Also, January 31st, I'll be at the Comedy Dojo in New Jersey at TIFF's. Really two great places. Check out Dan St. Germain at Dan St. Germain on Instagram. Dan's not here this week, but we had a freaking awesome episode with a super funny comedian, Zahid Dewji. So right now, enjoy our episode with me and Zahid Dewji. So I started here.
You started in New York?
Yeah. And I remember there's a guy, a lot of people like from my class know this guy Angry Bob. I think have we talked about Angry Bob on the show, maybe? I don't know. But this guy really big, ended up losing a bunch of weight. I think he's still around. I don't know what the deal is. Mm-hmm. And I remember being 6 months into comedy, being at an open mic and doing decently at the open mic. There's 15 people there.
Sure.
And then I get off stage and from the back, it just bellows, "You're almost there, kid." And I remember being like, let's not do that. We're not doing this. This is not 1940s New York Broadway. Like, you're not some sleazy producer. You're a fucking fellow open micer. People just, you know what it is? People get in their heads immediately and don't realize like, hey, I want to have fun with this. Yeah.
Everybody that does stand up wants to do it to get to another point.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And everyone that doesn't do stand up wants to get to a point where they do stand up.
Exactly.
Like actors like Germain, like Piv, like whatever, like I want to do that. And everyone that does it is like, I'm like, stand-ups just want to do stand-up and just have fun. Just tell jokes and be a fucking moron.
And well, there's a great Matthew Broussard. You know Matthew Broussard?
Of course.
Great
Houston guy.
Houston guy, yeah.
Yeah, he was a class right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's
he left before I...
great joke he has where he goes, stand-up is the only job you can get Me Too'd into. And it's true.
That's great. Yeah, it's so great.
People.
And then everyone that got Me Too'd in, they're like, you get out of here. We're taking Pivot. It's like this weird draft that we're...
And also like the level of it too. Like you kind of got Me Too, but you didn't.
Yeah.
I remember it was a female comic once, maybe it was a couple years ago. She goes, that never would have flew during Me Too. I go, what do you mean during?
It's still happening.
It's like
it wasn't.
it shouldn't it always be the thing going forward?
Remember when we stopped Asian hate for those 2 years?
Hey, I remember we clapped for the nurses for a couple of years,
and then we're like, shut the fuck up! You get back in that box. You fix my wound.
Do your fucking job.
I left my pots at home.
Zahid, I cannot thank you enough for doing this. We have the very hilarious comedian on the show this week. Welcome to the Burbs Bros, everybody.
Oh, what's up, man?
Fantastic.
Yeah, so
Zahid Dewji, we've been pals for a while. You're a freaking hilarious comedian. Tonight show, don't tell, all that stuff. And I'm glad to finally have you on the show.
Dude, I'm so happy to do it. We are like ships in the night, as most comics are.
Yes.
But when we pass, there's a few people where I'm like, what the fuck? And then we just hang out for a little bit. And then we try to hang out, and then comedy gets in the way. But it's one of the few people that I know that I always take, we always take time to hang out and catch up and tell jokes and shit.
Exactly right. You know what the show's about. We usually start off by asking, have you ever had anything? We do paranormal and we do UFO stuff. Have you ever had anything, a moment in your life that was paranormal or UFO related, or just something you're like, there's a there there, like that was off? Like, have you had stuff like this happen?
Yeah, what's weird is I also haven't really talked about much of this outside of my like family life.
Really?
So I'm kind of a little bit.
Are you a little bit?
I'm a little
trepidatious?
skittish because I also know that the internet is, well, the internet is us, and we're all terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you have anonymity behind your comments and stuff, I'm a little suspect. But
About what people say. Well, people. Okay, so just to give you background, we have people who love this show, and we have people who fucking hate this show. We just had a guy he watched it. He just wrote a comment. His name is David Patriot. He's on the comments. I just saw it. I just responded on our YouTube. It said, he goes, God, I tried with these guys, but they suck even with Karen Fian being on the show. And his name's David Patriot 17090, whatever the fuck it is. And I'm like, I'm at the point, but you've been doing this a while too. It's like, you can't offend me. Like, there's nothing you can say. Like,
you really can't.
You can't. The amount I hate myself, you're not going to get to that point.
My Don't Tell came out, and the roasts were so funny that like, look, go find the Don't, watch it.
Yeah, watch it.
But then people in the comments would leave comments that they were the guys that Don't Tell were like, do you want us to remove these things? Like, they're kind of racist. I'm like, these are hilarious. Some guy told me in all caps, go back to Sandland. I'd laughed so hard.
Fuck.
Sandland's funny. That's funny.
Sandland just sounds like a Middle Eastern theme.
Exactly. That's hilarious. Another guy went,
the hummus slide.
Yeah. You haven't done that yet? Some guy said I look like a light bulb with ears. It's fucking like, dude, it's like you can't offend me, especially when these are like, well, some of the guys that are commenting, you're like, you're idiots. But also, thanks for being out there and watching and saying a stupid thing. That's what I like.
Well, now every time somebody comments on ours, I'm right away. I'm just like, thanks for watching. Thanks for the engagement.
Yeah, sure.
And 9.9 times out of 10, they don't follow up. Like I wrote back and go to the guy I just mentioned. I go, thanks, Patriot. Nothing back yet.
Nothing.
I just did it, but still,
it's great.
But do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I will. Well, my family is my family's from East Africa. We're Tanzanian, but we're Indian. So my whole family got left Tanzania, and this relates, but they left Tanzania in in the early 70s when they were this nationalization happened, so they're kicked out.
Oh, wow.
So growing up, I would hear these kind of crazy stories about paranormal and weird ghost stuff that used to happen, that a lot of people in my family could be like, oh, it was just known.
Yeah.
It's not like now where people are like, you think ghosts are real? Over there, they're like, if you said they weren't, they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong?
That would
with
be
you?
a problem.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't just between Indian people. It was just African people, like Indian people. Everybody just knew that there's certain things you don't go to, certain times you don't go there. These were just normal things.
And that happens with a lot of those cultures, because they're talking about Native Americans. They're just they know the Greys, aliens, as they're just they have a name for them. They're they're the not ant people. They call them something.
Sure. And there's a lot of stuff in
matter of fact.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I'm so into this stuff, because if I feel like the minute you take away whatever you want to call this, electricity, civilization, the minute you take that away, nothing's cluttered, and these cultures are we see shit all the time. We have relationships with it. They've helped us, or they've done whatever, and I'm like, I don't think they're bullshitting. They're not on peyote all fucking day.
Well, for me, there's two things to sort of separate, and I think can get is the sort of otherworldliness of, I don't know, I would say the spirit world, and that sort of middle ground of our existence here, and then what happens after, and the middle ground between, and then also aliens and stuff that's within the realms of this world.
Let me ask you this: do you think they're related? Because I'm kind of on that point.
Yes, but I also think that you look back at Galileo, and he was the first guy to be like, guys, I think this shit's wrong, and they're like, kill him.
Right.
And we think that we're past that, but we're in it.
We're in it.
We're still so ignorant, but we're so arrogant.
Yes, we figured it out.
Yeah, and it's the same shit of when they were putting cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Right.
And they're like, I love this drink. This is great. And you're like, we look back 80 years later, and we're like, we probably shouldn't have been doing that.
Your doctor's smoking and doing smoking.
Yeah, there's stuff now that we're doing that in 80 years they're going to be like, yeah, they were just smoking out of a battery. We shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's and then extrapolate that 1,000 years. There's no way we're at the pinnacle of.
Well, that's the thing. That's what
our civilization.
Exactly right, and that's what they think. They think that they're like, we have our science, right? Imagine if we were a civilization that had 1 million more years. You just have a way better understanding of stuff. It's just they've been around long. It's like Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where it's like, hey, there's no gods. I just been around for a while.
Yeah, God Collins.
But
absolutely.
Let me ask you this though: as far as the family stories go, that was mostly ghostly. See, I think that's even based off science.
Yeah, and when I come from like we are a spiritual religious family, but we're also like it's just some of these internal things. I also want to make sure in no way that I'm putting that. But there's like weird things that I heard from them, and then there's weird things that I experienced growing up. And I've always been like so like one of the small things that like. One of the small things that was kind of known in our family that was like always passed around. And I would always, how you hear a story, the same thing with jokes where you hear it and you go, tell it again. And you already know how it's going to end. You
just want to hear it.
Yeah, you just want to hear it again. Yeah. So there's these stories out, I'd ask it's called Qabristan, which is just, it's a word that just means cemetery. Okay. And so around the cemetery and stuff, they're like, yeah, you just got to watch out, especially at night if you're on the beach, like if you're on the coast of Tanzania, where you might see a lost spirit, and the way you can see the lost spirit. And I understand that to anyone watching, I'm going to sound insane right now.
No. But, this is the show.
They would always be able to tell because the feet were backwards.
Really?
Yeah, and I always thought that was just, as a kid, I just always liked the imagery of that, of like someone walking on the beach at night, lost between both worlds. And you can tell because the metaphor is literal.
Yeah.
They're going one way, but their feet are going the other way. And it's reflective of, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right. And then, so there's what they meant by that was they seemed, if you look at them at first glance, you're like they're human. And
then you look down, their heels on the front of their foot and their toes are pointing the other way.
Wow.
And you realize like, this is like, don't talk to them. Like you almost just don't engage. You move past. It's just understood that is an otherworldly sort of lost being right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, right?
And that was the story your family would tell you.
That was like one of the stories that I think.
And this was just happen. This is just would happen all the time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not all the time, but it was one of those things that like if you saw it, they were just sort of like told as lore, and like and people have been like, oh, I saw that. Like someone in my family like, oh, I saw that. And you just didn't engage. But when I was young, and this is where I get a little, I don't know, dicey, but when I was growing up, and it was like but back then there wasn't, therapy and stuff like now we're getting into right now. And we have this like way to sort of science our way, which I love, which I think is good. But like we talk like, but then that in a way makes it seem like there can't be anything else. He's hallucinating. He's OCD. He's this. But it's like, what if that's not true?
Right. Well, that's the other point.
And there's a good Alan Watts book I was reading, where he talks about how a lot of ancient mysticism and ancient wisdom has almost been, diluted down to sort of our Western ability to put it just in one box and be like, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, it's not this.
And we're getting the cliff notes of it. We're getting we're not getting the bigger picture. We're just getting like, hey, I have these stories, and then like you said, they're lore. They end up being lore, but it's like at one point this lore, it's fact.
But it's in every culture. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you look at like I think South Korean horror movies are my favorite.
Is that it? Behold the Spirit? Is it the book?
No, there's one called Behold the Spirit's good. There's one called it's like Becoming You, but he's saying it sarcastically because he's basically saying like you already are yourself, like don't stay away from it. But there's moments in it when he talks about just at one point ancient Asian wisdom just sort of being shuffled in through our filter. And in that way I kind of feel the same way with anything paranormal or whatever, which is just we just have a way of, and we're finally getting out. Like The Age of Disclosure just came out.
Right. Did you watch it?
Yes. Great documentary.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar's shit. I used to watch all of his shit.
Which is, like you said, which is just, like, it's so funny because it's like a mini version of what you said earlier. Bob Lazar was like considered a lunatic for a long time, and then now a lot of the stuff that he says is just becoming a matter of fact
because people are coming out and being like, "Oh, you won't you won't make fun of me or kill me or go after my family if I just tell you something I saw.
I can whistle blow or whatever. And then back in the day when he did it in '89, it was George Knapp that he talked to. And then first he was anonymous. And then he was like, actually, I don't want them to kill me, so it's me.
Yes. There was a lot of fear there. I heard this crazy story. You might be able to look this up, but this is a crazy story. Can you look up Jackie Gleason's house?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about this?
We talked about it on the show.
Okay, cool.
It's that story.
With Nixon just being like, you want to get drunk and go look at a fucking alien? It's like my favorite. It's my favorite fucked up president thing.
It also just sounds like what two drunk celebrities would do. Yeah. Well,
yeah, this is unbelievable.
And apparently he came back and told his wife, and his wife relayed the story to everybody. And she was like, he was not lying. And the fact that he built that house, it's like, what? Come on! To me, I'm like, this just seems so true to me.
It adds.
And if anybody's going to bring you to see aliens, you don't think it's going to be Nixon? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Nixon really cared about the rules.
Also, he brought the perfect guy. No one's going to believe Jackie fucking Gleason, this fat drunk. And he's like, to the moon, Alice.
To the moon, where there's bases. That's why he did
to the dark side of the moon,
to the
Alice.
dark side of the moon. If you see any aliens, go the other way. That's why he did it. He's like, to the moon, where I'd love to go someday. It's like, he didn't mean it. It changes the whole
He was
thing.
saying literally.
He's saying like, to the moon, we'll go together.
Yeah.
I'm building a spaceship house.
They're like, don't worry, Jackie's drunk again.
That's the other thing where it's like, it's almost like, okay, who else knows about aliens? Dean Martin? You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like, these guys just constantly have a drink in their hand. There's a great, really quick, it's a little off topic.
No, it's good.
There's a great Jackie Gleason story. If people don't know who Jackie Gleason is, he was in The Honeymooners, comic from the 50s, 60s, 70s. He was in The Toy in the 80s. He's amazing. And there's a famous story that he used to hang out, like, you know, one of these old Irish bars in New York City, one of these places. And
it's the only place I see you. Yes, it's the only place you and me run into each other. I have not seen Sean not under a green light. Can I just tell that? I've only seen you under green lights.
Yeah, it's my office. That's where I do my best work. What you call it? No, but I don't know what bar it was. I forget which one it was because it was in the story. There's a famous story that he knew the owner of the bar and he ran off some crazy tab. Let's say, this is back in the 60s probably. So say like a couple thousand, whatever it is, up there. But crazy booze tab. Yeah. And he told the story, the legend goes that he told the bartender, hey, I'll race you around the block. And if I win, we'll each race and we'll meet back here. If I win, then you wipe the tab clean. And the story goes that they went, he ran off one way, the owner went the other way, and he hopped in the cab and it drove around the corner. Which is a pretty, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a pretty good story.
But even that's the point. It's like, who cares? I just love, because I'd rather believe it's true and like that.
Yeah. So that's to me, like, even when, and we're kind of touched on this, but like anecdotal.
Yeah.
Like the anecdotal side of this topic is so overwhelming that even the Jackie Gleason stories, the Jimmy Carter story we talked about on the thing, about the Jimmy Carter story?
I think so.
They read him in. We've talked about it before, but just to give you an idea, a general showed up at the Oval Office one day and read him into like what the aliens were and what. Mm-hmm. And basically, one of the facts that he gave him is that religion was created to keep us in check. That's what they told him. Yeah. And I don't know exactly how it was worded, but whatever. But Jimmy Carter is like very Christian, and they said that the general left and he was just weeping at his desk for like an hour. But I don't think it's just that. I think it was more. It must have given him more information that just nobody knows. But
yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy when you watch the Age of Disclosure. I was just watching it with my brother, and I used to love him back in the day. Like I was obsessed with X-Files. I remember I had this like. I saw this back when you used to get like books from a bookstore.
Yes, I do.
And there was this like little comic book about gray aliens, and it had like 50 jokes in it, like a small little like almost like the New Yorker cartoons. Yeah, and it was just about aliens, and I would just read it every day and just laugh, and I knew the jokes, and it was so funny, but it was all alien jokes, and I just like it's one of those things too where I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of truth to it. It also logically makes sense. And I remember one time I went to NYU and dumb decision. And Then became a comic afterwards. Really smart stuff. Really fucking. I was like, I'd like the debt early.
Can I pay back in drink tickets?
I go in like a 9-year-old at an arcade. Yeah, here's first semester.
What'll this get me?
Can I get one of those right there? So we went into like I started stand up in Houston. My family we live in Houston.
Right.
There's some NYU function for NYU graduates in Houston. My friend and I went. It was at NASA, and there was an astronaut there. And I remember because I was, first of all, like I asked him, two things happened. One, genuinely, we were talking to him about aliens. Like, do you think aliens exist? And he's like, and this is maybe about like 7 years ago.
Okay.
And he straight up goes, he's like looking around. He goes, I know the numbers are against. He goes, I'm absolutely convinced they don't. And immediately in my head, I was like, I just feel like that's a crazy, like he was like convinced they don't, but he's an astronaut. And so that was like
a talking point.
So it almost, I wasn't sure if he was like covering stuff or if he just actually didn't believe, but it was like, so we kept probing. But then my friend is like kind of hammered, just goes, Buzz Aldrin, great astronaut.
Just to fuck with him?
Just to fuck with him. And you can tell the guy's like, yeah, I get it. I can go to the moon. Like, he was like pissed. And it made the whole...
You think if you got to the point that you were like an astronaut, you'd be like happy for other astronauts, but everybody talks shit. Everything's petty. Even like, all right, like how much of a dick you have to be to go, enough with this Buzz Aldrin
I
situation.
hear it all the time. He went to the moon. Like, fucking made me laugh so hard.
That's really
dying.
funny. But the thing about that is, and I want your opinion on this as well, is you bring up NASA, and only recently has NASA kind of been in the conversation because the thought was like NASA covered up because it's not a private company. I guess it's government funded, but partially. It is privately funded, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I think there was a lot of funding taken out of it, and then it got more privately funded by maybe Elon Musk or something like that.
Yeah, I always think there's going to be a front. It's kind of like how the president's a mascot. Like he's like the Tony the Tiger of America.
That's,
you know what I mean?
Especially, this one's orange.
Yeah.
That tracks. That makes total sense.
I used to do this joke, by the way. This is a really stupid thing about it. It's like how that's like the worst. How that's the worst slogan in all of fucking advertising.
Cereal? Yeah.
They're great. Like someone pitched that in a meeting.
Somebody made
like, we gave you $20,000. You came up with "they're great," and he's like, no, wait till you hear me say it though. They're great. They're like, actually pretty good.
It's like, bravo. And you're right, because like it's you're like, that's all you got.
Yeah.
And you need the voice.
They're good was up there. Some big cross out there.
They're decent.
But it's like
you'll eat them.
Yeah,
like, might as well be like,
that's a pretty good point.
If you can say anything with a voice, be like, you'll eat them.
Yeah.
Your parents said so. Like, it's like, you have to have breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, you can just do a million of those.
Yeah, just be like, no, the tiger's Italian. But I think NASA, some of these government agencies are most probably, when you see the privatization of, everything, military-industrial complex.
Sure.
The whole thing. That was the whole thing, right? I forgot which president was that warned us of that, where he goes, was it Carter?
You mean Reagan?
No.
Oh, no, it was Eisenhower.
Eisenhower was like, watch out.
That was his exit speech.
Yes, this shit's happening. So I think as you see this move forward, it's like, yeah, there's probably like a front-facing version of NASA that's like, yeah, sure, we went to the moon in the 60s, we're doing this, which I do think we did. But I think there's probably a much secret or quieter element that if I was you, I wouldn't tell us.
Well, the amount of data they have, right? Exactly. And
so why would they not?
Well, they're also being. I would guess. I think the behind the scenes guys are like heavily pressured. But the funniest thing to me, Ross Coulthard. You know who Ross Coulthard is? He's the journalist from Australia who did the psionic. He interviewed David Grush, one of the whistleblowers that was on Capitol Hill, and then he did. What's the other guy's name that we had? Jake Barber, who was the psionics guy. I don't know if you know about the psionics program. This is him right here. So he is in this world. He's on 60 Minutes in Australia. Like he's legit. And we had him on the show, and he was fantastic on the show.
This guy came on the show?
This guy came on our show, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
But he had a bombshell video recently where he talked about how he went to NASA headquarters or a NASA station.
Yeah.
And because it's so funny, he goes, and he's like, while I was there, we picked up a UFO on the footage, and they had the guy just turned off the feed while I was there. And I saw him do it. A guy motioned. He basically was like, they're watching, somebody's showing him around. That comes on screen, everybody's watching it. The guy, does a head thing to the guy, and the guy hits it and
cuts it.
But that's the funniest thing to me, that their way of censoring it. They have no high tech way of censoring it, because there's even videos online where people think that the astronauts will just put their thumb in front of the UFO.
Oh my god!
So it's just like hey, look over there. It's the worst way to censor.
They're doing like Benny Hill.
Just astronauts running around.
All pushing buttons like a kid in an elevator.
Levers.
Yeah. There's a cartoon piano guy in the back. Auga.
But no, so that's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, they have so much, but I think you can't. They've been able to. They've been one of the groups, just like the Air Force. The other thing that's talked about a lot is, we're not even talking about that much, because the Air Force has a hard line where they're like, none of it's true, which means that they're the ones who, if they're the ones who Lockheed Martin and the Air Force have probably the closest relationship, right? Sure. So the third party companies, and that's why the Navy's the one that blew this thing wide open with the whole Nimitz incident and all that. It's not the Air Force's airplanes that are saying they saw these. And the Air Force has a tight-lipped, nothing's happening.
Yeah, and there's also so many
hard line.
Sure. And there's also so many, I think, there's so many, I wouldn't say videos, but maybe accounts of, UFOs literally landing into the ocean. And how much of we don't know about underwater at all, right? Like we don't.
That's the big thing.
We don't know the deep sea fucking at all.
And they have a million USO stories, like unidentified submerged objects, submersible objects, and they have the going through multiple mediums is another proof positive. Like, this is bad shit.
I just think that's my thought. Basically, just comes from I'd say a humble ignorance, where I'm like, it seems that it would be crazier to me that it doesn't exist than it does exist.
That's how I feel now, especially with this age of disclosure.
Yeah.
And with what's been going on for the past 7 years. The thing that did it for me, I've mentioned this a million times, so sorry guys, is that first New York Times article just opened me up to it, because it was very believable.
Yes.
And it was New York Times, and they do their due diligence, and they report on what they can report on, and they had more info than they even put in the article, I found out later on.
Oh, really?
But they were just talking about ATIP, which was this group that was using under the table money to study these things, and then everything kind of went crazy from there, right? So
and then if you just look at our information. This is the first time where we're exchanging information, at least in our world right now, at this rate. So how much faster can information be exchanged? When it comes to a certain breaking point, the information will not be able to be held back because it'll be too accessible. So I just feel like we're slowly ramping up, and like most, ages, it goes, what's the word? Exponential.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. What I'm saying is, like, when you look at like the Industrial Revolution, it lasted this. When the Agricultural Revolution lasted 200 years, Industrial Revolution it lasted 100.
Yeah.
Each thing on top of it goes faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, because they have the means to get there.
So in an information age, I think it would just become harder and harder to keep some of that info back, because in my opinion, it does lend itself maybe down the future of, everyone will have access to the same amount of information.
Well, I also think it's so funny. It's the amount of access that these guys who make these movies have, because this guy, you ever watch any of the James Fox ones, like The Phenomenon or Moment of Contact? I'll send you the links.
Please send me them.
But I love his, but he didn't have as much reach as this guy, Dan Farah.
Yeah.
Because Dan Farah was, I think, a producer on Ready Player One.
Cool.
I think he's worked with Spielberg before. So he had, his might be nominated for an Oscar. That's the rumor.
Holy crap.
It's the most rented thing on Amazon, right? By Amazon Prime.
Wow.
Right now, by far.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you get exponential. When you get to that point with it, now does that affect? That affects the whole world. Because then the Spielberg one comes out, and then disclosure is just done. It's just disclosed. But then what you're starting to get is, hey, you're getting real videos online of people are saying, because they're looking up more because of age of disclosure, because of
we have a fucking camera in our hands.
Exactly. Well, that's why people go, why isn't there, there's a meme, it's pretty funny, you might be able to find it, Ian, I'll show you, and it says, it's like, whenever it's too fuzzy, people are like, you can't even tell what that is.
Yeah.
And then if it's a clear-cut UFO, they're like, it's CGI.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't win. Either two things happen. Either we succumb to the sort of matrixy world where we're just ants in some sort of, global, we're just being farmed.
Yeah.
Either that's the end goal or like, and I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm just saying like hundreds, thousands of years, that's either what happens. Either power corrupts completely and that's what we become. Or just the idea of countries, borders go away, an entire, like, it becomes more global. And you can see that, like I said, not tomorrow, but I'm saying look down 500, 600, 700, 1,000 years. You could see us becoming more of a worldly species.
That's a good one. Look, a UFO. Let me get my worst quality camera.
That's great. Let me get my worst quality camera.
Let me get my disposable from '96. Yeah. But what's funny about that is that one of the
they got one guy with a curtain over his head.
The flash bulb. Yeah. Let me get my Lincoln.
I got it here.
Let me get my Abraham Lincoln camera.
Yeah. It moved fast. Yeah. I couldn't catch it. That's a quick one.
But it is one of those things.
Kind of like those no Negroes in baseball. Wow, it's quick. It just gets racist so fast.
Yeah. You got to talk old timey. You get the old timey camera. Like, what am I saying? We're like, women shouldn't vote. What am I even doing? But anyway. So what happens a lot now, and it's talked about in Age of Disclosure, is the way things are. The reasons why you're getting terrible pictures of these things. First of all, they're super high up.
Sure.
And people zoom in on them. They try to get what they can. But whatever the technology is going around it, it's creating its own gravitational field or its 0-point energy, whatever you want to call it. It takes a tremendous amount of power for that to happen. And that's why you're not able to get it completely. That explains a lot of these. But there's other ones that you see. There's one from Mexico. It's just this giant craft above an apartment building. I don't think it's ever been debunked. There's a Turkish one that was shot 3 years in a row that conceivably has beings inside of it. You can see.
Really?
It's never been debunked. It was confirmed by. It's so funny too because it's so American because these other countries just confirm the stuff like Brazil or and we're just like but it's another country like we're so fucking arrogant because there was some film council of Turkey that confirmed this is actually happening in the film and nobody talks about that. They're just like this has got to be wrong. And
that's the Turkish one. It sucks because we have so many good things as a country. But we are excellent at propaganda. And one of the things that we're good at is telling people that we're the best.
Right, exactly.
And it's happening the most right now. So it's kind of funny to be like, they're fucking Turkish. It is kind of funny that we got to a point where everyone's like, I didn't think about it like that.
You raise a good point.
Yeah. I didn't think about the fact that they're disgusting. You're right. Why would they have signs? I thought only we had signs.
But what you just said is exactly another reason why I think the what was talked about in Age of Disclosure, that the 70-year plan that under wraps to be the first ones to get to harness this energy is another reason because of how arrogant we are. We're like, we're not gonna let you know anything because we have to be the ones that do it.
I try to look at. I think if more people looked at everybody around them if you look at us from the future looking into the past, look at where we are as if we're looking at it from the future. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even this, you see a bunch of people in these borders arguing over 0-point energy. You're like, these fucking idiots aren't ready for this. And you see even this motion of I gotta take this is monkeys fucking with sticks.
Right, exactly.
This is sticks. There's a physical object, and then we point it and we go, I have it. This is fucking rocks.
Yeah, and
this is fucking rocks and speed. This is dumb shit, dude.
And then you hear the specs from Age of Disclosure where they talk about to power one of these things takes 10 times the amount of power the country uses in a day.
We just got quantum computing last Christmas. We asked for it for years. We're like, come on, give us quantum computing. Come on.
Come on, God. Give us
Google was
computing.
like, fine. Turns out we are accessing information from other dimensions. Should have told you that. Our bad. Why the fuck would we be able to grab a photo? We're morons.
There's a mistake at the plant. We opened up a wormhole. It's not a big deal.
And you see like some stupid girl in the middle of winter. It's 22 degrees. She's wearing a skirt. And you're like, you're not even at the age. We're way behind. Yeah. You're bringing us back.
You're back in caveman days.
Yeah. So I think that's how I would view us from another position. The way that we view, like these sort of antiquities, like these antiquated sort of cultures that we look back now. We're like, well, how do they make the pyramids? It must have been slaves.
Yeah.
Why was it slaves? Because that's what we would have done. That's like it's crazy. You look at those, you're like, dude, they're off. They're off from true north by 1/3 of a degree.
Yeah.
Every proportion is an explanation, and it's like we're like, how do they do it?
And then the race to explain it, they're just like, it's got to be this.
It's got to be this. It's like we don't have the ignorance and the humility to sort of look at the past and look at the future as if maybe we don't fucking know everything.
And that's also another, there's so many different theories on what is going to happen, but what you hear is that they call it the NHI, the non-human intelligence, and they observe, but then what people are told things telepathically. You guys aren't the way you guys are. You kill each other still. You destroy. There's wars. You're not ready. You're not at our point. Like you were just saying, you're not at our level to know what the hell is going on. And maybe you'll get to that, or maybe you'll blow yourselves up, and a little piece of you guys
that's
will
what
be.
I'm saying. Yeah. Either we crush us, or we undo the sort of systems we've created to keep us locked in these structures of power. And I think like COVID was probably the first time when we were like, we stopped and went, what is all this?
Yeah, yeah.
All of us did that. We went.
Yeah, because it was collective. It was the first thing that everybody on the planet went through.
Yeah. So, and I think, and that's the thing. When I look at globalization as a whole, Netflix, people are watching South Korean movies. Parasite won the Oscars. I mean,
yeah,
you're actually watching cultural exchange in a much bigger level.
Absolutely.
And I think like if it keeps going down that way, some of these sort of things might break down. Again, it's not tomorrow. I don't think it's in 100
No, I think
years.
it's a process.
I think it's a much bigger evolutionary process, and we just play these little parts, in our lives right now. But
yeah,
maybe I could see it going down that way. I remember like I interviewed Jim Morrison. Back in the 60s at the end of the Doors era, and they're like, what do you think the future of music is? And he literally just goes, I think I could see it being one guy with a lot of tape machines and just playing loops. He was describing a DJ.
Wow.
But he had called it from like 1968.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like, he was putting his heads somewhere else. And I'm just like, right now, I just think it's a lot for us to...
And also all the conflicting information. It's like one of these things where it's like I think when the veil is lifted, you'll be like, oh, it was that the entire time. It was Mr. Plum in the conservatory with the wrench. But
yeah.
What I want to ask you is, and that this fits into that and what we're talking about. I don't know if you've heard about there's multiple of these faces that are involved in this. So you have Coulthard and Lou Elizondo and all these guys talking about an event that's coming and once again, possibly PSYOP, possibly just trying to control the masses. An event that's coming where it'll be undeniable that all this is real, and disclosures has to happen naturally because something's coming. They won't say what, but it's something that'll change.
Do they mean externally or within the systems, comprise the system? Like some kind of announcement from us or something external?
I think something coming. And like just like when they had 3i Atlas, that thing that was coming, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, some other ship, and it's not. And a lot of people knew it's not for a long time. It's just a weird comet that's not from our galaxy, for our solar system. But people were like, oh, that's a mothership coming to us. There's something else that they're like Lou Elizondo, who's like one of the OG guys on this from like 10 years ago, where he's like, the thing that's coming is like you're not going to be able to deny that this is a real phenomenon. And I don't know if they mean like, oh, something happens like something global warming wise, so that uncovers a giant ship somewhere. They say these giant ships are buried at places, or it's just that it's an event where contact is made and everybody will know for some random reason. If you had to guess, what would you think it would be? Because I'm sitting there talking to my friends about this. I'm racking my brain. I'm like, it's gotta be just visitation. They just know is happening, or they're just bullshitting. And
a visitation would then also mean that they're in communication with them.
Well, if you age of disclosure, that Holloman Air Force Base story that Eric Davis talks about, which we talked about on the show, I think a couple weeks ago, is it was a long rumored story that these beings landed at Holloman Air Force Base and then just walked off with a general. And then the implication they talk about in age of disclosure means that some kind of contact must have been made
already
before,
happened.
so you have safe passage to land.
So then it's a planned event, in which case, like, again, if I'm just trying to use the logic of it, where I'm like, if it was me and that, and then you're planning an event, then you plan it out to make sure that everything is taken care of, that there's guardrails in place to make sure it happens smoothly, and then so there's something that they're planning for, because they already know that shit's out there already.
Right.
So then might as well, but that could be one. Or then the other thing is, we're still so ignorant, we have no fucking idea, but we are being told, so it's a one-way communication where we're being told and they don't know yet, but they're like, something's coming. We got a fax.
Right. We receive whatever, but it's got to be something showing up, because
ideally,
they would try to put the kibosh on it if they were still trying to not have the cat out of the bag. Not even mention that something's coming.
Sure. I mean, I also think, like, we still live in a three-dimensional world where, and we always will, obviously, but I'm saying that we need something physical to show up and to be there. And it could be something that might be different than a thing that we even know how to perceive yet.
That's what I'm wondering.
That's one of those things where it's like, I'm still like, I try to, like, look at it practically. So I'm like, if you think those things are, happening and real, then try to use that information pragmatically right now, and like how you treat people and what you do and stuff.
Sure.
Like that's, I think most people.
Yeah, because if you're to, like we talk about a lot on the show, it's like, if all this matters and how you're acting matters, that's why a lot of these lessons are like, treat people how you want to be treated.
I think that.
And it might help with something else. It might help the whole consciousness.
Yes, the global consciousness of everyone to realize, like, oh shit, like my life does matter. Yeah. And I'm doing important and whatever. But also in the grand scheme of things, I should maybe zoom out a little bit.
Right, exactly.
Like it's a good healthy zoom out.
Let me show you the last thing, because this is. Can you do the video, Ann, and then I want to get your opinion. Have you seen these? So this is
that video from my colonoscopy. Is that footage?
This is one of your hemorrhoids.
Dr. Michael sent you this? I told him.
This is actually
a polyp that just came out.
This is an appointment. So these things show up all the time, the orbs. Mm-hmm. So it always has the same kind of look. And this is a video enhancement that was done by a guy named Chris. This is Chris Bledsoe, but Truth and Focus, I guess, did the zoom in with the the slowdown or whatever it is. I'm guessing that's probably magnified by 50 times. Who knows how many times? That's why it looks like this. But that's what I'm saying about this, is that these things show up all the freaking time. Absolutely. And it's always the same thing, where it has that the outer ridge is pretty solid. Inside looks very plasma-y, except for a defined dot in the middle, like that. And it's always the same. And I was watching, I think we even did it on the show, but when the whole drone thing was happening, which I'm guessing the drones are just China. That's because when Trump came out and he was like, it's fine. It's That's, I'm like, all right, it's China. But all the news cameras were pointing up, and WABC, Channel 7 in New York, they were just like, oh, we're looking for the drones. And they found one of those, and like they were on it for like 7 minutes. There's a video online. And
I love that video. It's actually a clear video.
It's totally clear.
It's so clear.
It's super clear. And you're like, hey guys, that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah, and ABC's like, oh, fuck. You can see them quietly freaking out.
You see them slowly put their thumb over the
just be like, for like a balloon with
oh my God.
I was looking for a balloon with like a Mr. Miyagi symbol on it, not that thing. That's crazy.
But there's so many.
I think
moments
Mr. Miyagi was Japanese. Actually, I don't want to get that wrong.
He had his own drone. No, dude, thank you so much for doing.
Always, man. I want to talk more.
I know. So do I. I will come. Please come back.
I will. Absolutely.
Come back with Dan.
I love you, buddy.
When Dan's here, I love you too. You are the man. Do me a favor. Anything you want to plug? But your Insta, anything you want.
Just follow me on Instagram and watch my Don't Tell special since we were watching that. That's 2 years old, but watch it. Maybe
Watch it. Yeah. Don't tell. Talk about, I want to talk about clear video. Don't tell production. Holy,
they should be shooting the UFOs.
Can we do a Don't Tell on one of those orbs? I know they have. If you guys don't know, you've watched the show, you probably know. Don't Tell is a company that does these pop-up shows.
Company,
they're great.
Yeah. Super
The
awesome.
guy who runs it could not be a cooler guy.
Kyle, shout out.
But they do it in places that don't normally have comedy. So it'll be like, it's an exercise store. I did one once. It was a what do they call them? Equestrian supply place.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's like all these random stuff.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, they would get some pretty damn good footage.
Dude, it's great.
Of UFOs. That'd be good. Hey, I'm doing a Don't Tell. It's on a ship that just
I'm
landed.
doing Jackie Gleason's house, actually. Are you going to come?
Oh, that would be amazing. I think they sold it. Don't Tell. Buy Jackie Gleason's house. Thank you so much again, dude.
Love you, brother.
And guys, you want me to do the thing after? We'll do it after. Thank you so much for watching. Dan will be here next time, and we love you. Thank you, Ian. Goodbye. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the episode, and now it's time to shout out our patrons. And if you haven't joined the Patreon yet, please do. It's patreon.com/Burbs Bros. That's patreon.com/Burbs Bros. It's really important to the show. We got people every day. We get more and more people on this thing. But right now, we're going to shout out our patrons, and we have a lot of repeats and a couple of new ones. First off, brand new one. Richard Ramdas. I think Ramdas was a big therapy guy from back in the day. I don't know if this is the same family. Rickle, which Rickle is, I don't know if that's a pseudonym for Don Rickle. Also the name of my dead dog. So thanks for making me sad. I appreciate it, Rickle. Radius, which that sounds fucking made up, but okay, Radius, thank you so much. Richard Louise, that sounds totally real. Thank you so much, Richard. Grame, Graeme. Sounds like, I feel like it's like Kesha. It's like a one-word girl singer. I have no idea who you are. And then one of our favorites every week. It is an absolute pleasure to say Banjo Pussy Whistle. I don't know how they got my Google password, but Banjo Pussy Whistle, thank you for being a patron. Pete My Leafs, how are you? John Hill, Jizza Jam, Wes Russell, Nicole, Stephen Hitchings, AQ, which sounds cool too. It sounds like a 90s rapper. Corey Beecher, Isaac Harris, William Morris, Agency. That's showbiz, folks. Duncan McRae and Mike Moyer. We cannot thank you guys enough for being patrons. And like I said, if you're not on the Patreon yet, please join right now. It's patreon.com/Burbs Bros. Patreon.com/Burbs Bros. It really helps the show. And thanks again. We really appreciate it.